Hey, what's up guys? Mass Mechanics here and welcome back to the channel. This is our Super Duty project we've been working on. If you're new to the channel, it's a 2004 that we had already body swapped to an 11 to 16. It came out excellent. We repainted it and it's really nice. But now we're working on the interior. And we already did the back seat in the last video. We switched it all to leather and did a bunch of leather dyeing and it really came out great. So now it's time to do a full step-by-step upholstery of these front seats. We're going to convert it to leather. I'm going to show you how to do it. So stay tuned and check it out. So this is our seat, driver's seat, all broken down, as you can see. Cleaned up a little bit, still pretty dirty, but there's not much you can do. I mean, this truck is getting pretty old, 04 and all. But this foam is still in good shape, which is great. The cover was ripping, and you can see where it started to deteriorate, but it barely, it's almost the same level. So it's not bad enough where I really want to replace it. It's pretty good. So we'll leave it. We got all the nice Velcro strips here and here that you need to make sure and stay aware of, because you're going to need those to put the cover on. That's how you get it from, so it's not like puffy, you know. You want to make sure you get a decent quality cover. This is the integrated seatbelt style, which makes life a lot more difficult. The best thing I found to do is to unbolt it down here, and then because this goes on the outside, and unbolt it there, and then you can get the cover off that way, because this thing is not something I really want to take off unless I had to. So yeah, that's where we're at with this. We got our fancy new cover here. We got to get this thing started. We're gonna have to do some cutting on it. It looks like it doesn't look like it's fitted perfectly, so hopefully I can make it work, and yeah, we'll figure it out. On the passenger seat, I will go through and do the whole thing with you more on camera. This one's more of a figure out how to do it type of deal, because I've never done one of these seats. I've done several other seats, but not the exact seat here, so I don't want to waste all your time by videoing it for an hour while I'm fooling around. So let me keep going, and then I'll get back with you. Alright guys, we're on to the passenger seat here. As you can see, the bottom's ripped up. This is the bottom from the driver's seat. They were swapped over a long time ago, just because of the rip here was on the outside of the driver's seat. So this cover and the cushion are off the driver's seat actually. So that's why there's more wear on this right here. But I mean, the thing's pretty nasty. It's all stained up. This is from just like a bathing suit. Like, I mean, the material they used is awful, and this is all grease stains. It's really gross. So it's time to switch it over to leather. So first thing we got to do is pop the headrest. There's a little tab right here. I don't even know if you can see it, but you got to push it in and then lift up, and then the headrest pops right off. Got that. And the other thing that people struggle with these is this back cover here. And to do that, you got to find where the tab is right here. And hold on, I got to push it in the other hand. There we go, one. And this is where the second one is. And then it drops down. Let's give it a little push. It's hung up on the cover here a little bit. Sorry for the zoom, but that's what I got. So this is what it looks like. These hang up a little bit. So what you could do is you just push in and then pull it out. It's easy. It's just a little bit of a hassle. Then these little tabs here are the push clips. And I had one stuck in the other seat too. Dismantling is simple. Just this type of plastic clip here. These ones, they have a pretty good lip on them. So a lot of times, usually I work with two hands. But you can just slide them. See? And the same, and these ones are the style where you just pop them like that. Pretty simple. And that's about it for the here. You got to get it off the foam. You don't want to tear the foam up, because we're going to reuse the back foam, because it doesn't take a lot of abuse on these, luckily, at least on these seats. And then down here, pop, pop, and then the big middle one. There's that. And that one's ready to go. So now we got all this part apart. Move this out of the way, and we'll flip over to the bottom. The bottom isn't that difficult. These things look a lot worse than they really are. You can see there's a bolt there with this crazy square washer spacer, and then you got the same on this side, and then down bottom you just have a bolt. So when you reassemble it, just remember that those crazy square washers go in the front. I'm going to buzz those out, and then I'll be right with you. Alright, we got our 4 bolts out of the seat bottom. So all you do is you're going to separate it a little bit. And the other thing, this seat was actually missing the bolt. We're going to have to replace it. But this one goes right here and actually screws into the seat bottom. So you'll have to remove that too on these Super Duty seats. I've even done seat bottoms on these trucks in the truck without even taking the seat out, just the bottom part. It sounds like it's crazy, but it's definitely doable. It's not as much fun as you would hope, but it is doable. It's not that bad. You just got to reach underneath. But again, you just got to take all these little clips off. It takes 2 hands to do a lot of it. I got one off, but I'll get both hands going on this. This one is a crappy design. I have these I've seen these just flopping like this on the seats to begin with, before you even touch them. That happens a lot. So I like to get them on, and then sometimes I put like a little zip tie just down to the wires and the corners, just to make sure it doesn't pop up again if somebody's bouncing around on it or something. So let me keep going on this thing, and I'll get the cover off, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so we got all these clips off here. This one was really jammed in there because it was the wrong cover for the seat, so they really jammed it in there good. But it's kind of cool. It reminds you of like an old bomber seat, kind of. But this is the seat bottom for these type of seats. Pretty cool. And then the cover and the foam we're not reusing, so it doesn't really matter. But here's the Velcro that you'll see, and it's on there pretty good, which is a good thing because it keeps the cover looking nice instead of floppy and baggy like a bag over something, you know, where it just doesn't look right. That's one thing you can see on some upholstery jobs. But just to show some of the damage that these things incur, I mean, this is the foam part of the actual cover that's totally deteriorated away, and then here's the damage to the actual seat foam itself. So you got quite a bit of damage here and not much padding left, clearly. So these things slide right in those little pockets there. I'll show that a different way in a different part of the video. But they go in and they hold this in too in the center just to keep it down from being all puffy. So yeah, this is going in the trash. Like I said, this was the driver's side cushion in the bottom. You could tell by, I don't know if it has any numbers on it or not, but anyways, it's no good. So we're not going to use that, and we'll put the new stuff in, and I'll show you the cover. But first we got to get the seat back stuff off all the way. Alright, so now we are on to doing the headrest here. So these little caps, they come right off. I like to pry on the material side so that way you're not messing up the plastic. Again, everything takes 2 hands for the most part. Let's see if one of these will pop off nice. Nope, of course not. Oh, I think I got this one. There we go. So you got a little Torx here. I think it's a T27. So you got to take that out on both sides, and you get this plastic cover part off. So first thing you got to do is to take the seatbelt part off, which is a pain in the butt sometimes. You got to take these covers off. They pop right off. And then you take a T27 Torx bit, and you pull it off. Once you get the bolt out on each side with the Torx, you got to try to pull this off. There we go. And this is your mechanism inside. Pretty fancy, huh? So this we can pretty much leave alone. We don't really have to mess with it too much. As you can see that they tie into their cover this way. But with the new covers, most of them don't come with this cut out and all lined up pretty. So a lot of times you can take and flip these in and then it holds it up too. So there's a few different ways of doing it. It's all up to user preference. Alright, so this is what it all looks like underneath. This is where your bolts were. The cover slides right down here. The only way to get this off without being crazy with tearing everything off is you got to take this off here, and then you take the bolt out here that holds the seatbelt on, and you can slide the seatbelt stuff through here, because this is actually a cover, as you can see. And then this cover comes right off, and then once that's out of the way, all this stuff slides right through it without any issue. So then we can look back and pull this whole cover all the way up and through. I'll start removing this cover and get it out of the way so we can get this seatbelt up, and then we can pull this back cover off. Now here's our side cover we need to remove to get in here to remove the seatbelt, because it's the integrated seatbelt design. Now I have yet to find a graceful way of pulling this off. Basically pry the heck out of it on one side, then it finally pops off. They don't seem to break from doing that. I've done it on a few of them now, but these are a pain in the butt to get off. Like I said, I just pry on one side until it finally pops off, and I haven't broken one yet, but I'm sure I'm bound to if I keep doing it. And then you got a bolt here, a screw here. You got to take the handle off, and then was one up here, like I said before, but that one should be gone by this stage anyway. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll get back with you. Alright, so we got those screws out and the little handle off. So now there should be one pop clip here. I guess it's in the back, like a little push clip. So then you just got to pop that out. There's that. And then you got to snake this over without breaking it, which can be fun. Again, you need kind of two hands. Get this to pop up and out of the way. And then you can slide it over that. Again, pain in the butt, but it's doable. So this is it underneath here. And now you can clearly see this is the nut we got to pull off. There's a big long bolt to get the seatbelt off. So let me get this nut off and I'll show you from there. Alright, nuts off. Pop this out of here and the belt drops. Now this thing, I should have pulled this off before I started on the camera again. But one-handed and my hip, I guess I can pull the cover off. There we go. And then you can just slide the belt out. There. So that's out of the way. So now to get the cover off, that part that we unhooked down here, we got to pull around. Then we're fighting the Velcro a little bit. We don't want to be too rough on the cushion because we're going to reuse it, obviously, for our case. So we don't want to be too crazy with it. But over here, you just got to make sure that you're unhooked so you're not going to rip the foam. Alright, so then you're just working it off of that. And then instead of having those slide-through pieces like the bottom, it just has a side of Velcro that goes horizontal. But either way works. So now we'll come over here and get it off of this corner. And then we have to pull the headrest things out. To do that, there's a little clip in here. I believe it's on this side too. I gotta get better at this camera work, I apologize. Slipping today. We're gonna push in right around here. If you can hit it, then they pop up. So let me get that going off camera and then I can get back with you. This here is the little clip I was talking about that I was trying to push in with the screwdriver. And then I use the handle of this hammer and gently tap it from the bottom and get it to pop out. That's how I do it. So I got one more to go here. Alright, so we got the headrest things out of the way. So let's keep going on this cover. So now we just pull it and snake it around all this. Pull our belt through. And our cover is off. So now we can start working on the new cover. Before I get too carried away with putting the new stuff on, I think I'm going to clean this filthy thing up because it's got, what, is it an 04? So that's quite a few years of gross. A lot of people have been sitting here. So, I mean, look at there's paper stuffed in it and everything else. So let me get it all cleaned up and then I'll be back. As you can see, the frame is clean. So now I don't feel bad putting a cover on this thing. The trouble is when you get covers, they're not really cut very well for this. So we have to match it up to the old cover and get it all to line up really well. So I will show you the new covers right now. Well, as you can see, it's a lariat cover, which is pretty fancy, huh? I'm stepping up in the world here instead of an old junk interior. But yeah, this is your cover. They come with most of the same stuff. The seat bottoms do not fit very well. The top actually fits really good, so that's nice. And as you can see, the cut here is very small. It's just a slice across. So what we have to do is turn this one inside out. And then here is our old awesome cover here. And as you can see, the hole is drastically bigger. So we have to make that hole similar to this so we can fit it over top of that big seat belt. So let me get it all lined up and I'll show you where I'm going to trace. Well, to get my pattern, what I did was I turned them both inside out. I lined up the seam here and the seam up here and the seam over here, and then I held the two tags together, and then I took one of these little mini felt pen Sharpie things and I traced it all out right in here. So you can see there's my cut lines. So that way we're in the ball game to get it to fit over that thing. So let me start cutting. Well, I got my cuts made and I fit it over here, and now I am feeding it through here. So we have to pull the cover down all the way around, get this to start going down. And like always, I need two hands to get most of this lined up. So once I get a little closer, I will show you. And here we are. This is how we're going to leave it. So that way when the cover goes on, it has nice looking leather all the way around. Obviously got to pull it a little tighter once we start getting all this good stuff on. So first I like to go up and look at that Velcro there and then line up the new covers Velcro line. And I reach way up in here, find the cross one first, get that to bite in. This is where it is right here. Get that in lined up, and then we'll line up the side ones. Well, we pushed our Velcro lines in here, here, and down here, and now we got to flip this under here, and we will pull this up. Of course, again, it's super hard to do good upholstery work when you have one hand here to work. But let's see if I can get it. If not, I will do it off camera and be back with you, which is what's going to happen. We get our clips all in here, and then we put one there and one here. That's for the two side pieces. And then there's one right up here. So we got all three of those in for whatever it is. We got to make sure everything on this side is good to go. Like these little skirt things that cover up the arms of the chair. Pull those out nice. That looks pretty. And this one we're going to have to dig out. Way up in there. There it is. And there's our seat back. Now we got to work on putting the headrest pieces in and getting this cover on. So let me start lining up the cover. Well, we got our cover back on. All it is the 2 Torx again, just like before. We just got to put our covers on, no problem there. And we got to hook our seatbelt back up right down here with a nut. So I'll tighten that nut up, and then we'll be on to hooking up our plastic shielding here again. And then we can start working on the seat bottom, because this plastic stuff goes on first before the seat bottom goes back on. You guys might have thought I forgot about the headrest parts, but all you do is you look under here. I don't know if you guys can even see. There's a little tube there. You take your screwdriver and stick it up there. Try to get it to go nice and straight up. Of course, it fights with me. Then you go like this. You try to find center in the tube a little bit, and then you stick it up, and you take a nice little razor like this and cut it. And then I like to take the razor and I like to work it in this way and slice through the foam, because there is foam in the cover now. You got to remember, it has the backing of material and the vinyl or leather or whatever you're using, and then just slice this way and slice this way until you hit the tube going all 4 corners, and you got a nice X to slide the thing down through. After doing a little slicing, this is the finished product. Now this tab faced on, you always look at the other seat, faced in on the inside. So we're going to face this one on the inside. Line it up just right. Slide it right in, line it up, and it should kind of snap in once it gets to where it needs to go. Got to line it up, and there it is. We are clipped in, and we are good. So now we have our spot for our headrests. That's really a simple thing to do. It's not difficult at all. Just take your time. There's already a tube in there, so with your nice little knife, you just slice away at it like that, and make your X and drop these right in, and they click once they're turned the right way. So if it doesn't want to lock in like these did, then you got to just spin it around a little bit. But on the Fords anyways, the one with that hidden button is always close to the headrest, and that button's facing the headrest. This button is also facing our headrest, seat belt. And then this one's also facing the seat belt, so it's pretty simple. And this one's always farther away from the seat belt, so pretty simple. So now this back is ready to be enclosed again with that cover. But first, we are going to start working on the seat bottom, because it's not going to be very comfortable to sit like this. So we are going to put the side shielding on here first, like I said, but I think we're going to just start working on that covering right now. So here's our seat bottom, like I said before. We got our little slots here, and then that's for these little ears that slide in. Then these are your Velcro strip things, and then here's your Velcro strip here. You can tell the seat bottom is which one it is for the passenger side, because this cushion is narrower than this cushion, so the outer one sticks out a little bit. This one wedges up against either a jump seat or a console. So yeah, that's a pretty easy way to figure it out. So I'm going to start putting this on, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Well, as you can see, we got their little tabs stuck through and locked in on this side. So now we need to get this Velcro strip here onto that Velcro strip. So that way you just line it up. And I do it with the seat cover inside out. So I'm lining this all up, and then I press it in all the way down so it bites into the Velcro and keeps it looking nice. And then this side will line up as well. Gotta move that around a little bit here. Get that to line up nice. Then we'll push this in all the way down. And there, it's got a nice tight setup. Always good to have a nice tight bottom, right? So now it's time to get the steel structure underneath it and then start flipping these sides down and get it locked in. So we flipped our cushion over, flipped our leather right side out, popped this base in, and we run into our first issue. Now this does not have slices in it to fit into these grooves here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut it, and then cut that edge off. So that way, and do the same thing here. That way these 3 spots will lock in and it won't be all messed up. So I'm going to snip those with some tin snips and then get that fitted, and we'll start from there. Okay, so we cut that and now it fits in just fine. So now we can say we have custom modded seats, I guess, right? So now we will tie all this junk together and then we will start working our way forward. We got a clip here, a clip here, and then this really crappy one in the front that never seems to stay on well. So let me start getting some of these done, and the next time we have a problem, I'll be back with you. Okay, so we got this clip in, these side ones in, and then here's our front one that is installed correctly, and as soon as you let go, it falls right off because it's just the poor design, and the clip is not exactly the same as what was there. So to remedy that, I have my little, I know some people might shake their head, but I'll tell you it works very well. This isn't the first one I've done it on. I have a little zip tie trick where you tie to this spring here, and then to this spring over here. You install it correctly, and then pull those tight, and then it just makes it so that lip doesn't want to flip up and come off this groove here. So I'm going to put that on now, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, here's our bottom here. As you can see, this is from the outside. Looks excellent. And to get this thing to stay down, like I said, I install it correctly, and just so it doesn't flip up, I hold the corners down. That way it doesn't get any ideas. And it's just, it works good, you know, and that way when somebody sits on it and gets up, these don't pop off, and then your brand new interior really looks like crap. So this seat is ready to be bolted on with the 4 bolts again after we get that plastic side piece on. And side piece is now on, and then this just slides right in. This part here, like I said before, is an important screw, because if you look up in there, I guess you can't see, maybe I'll slide this out a little. You see all this garbage likes to hang out like this, and your seat looks terrible. So this tucks away, and then once this pulls in, it just puts enough pressure against this where it doesn't pop out, and it gives you a nice edge rather than having it look like crap. So we'll get our 4 bolts back in down here, and we'll get that seat back on, the plastic part. Well, all we got left to do is the backrest here. We still have to cover our headrests, but as you can see, the color match on them is pretty good. But nope, that we haven't got our new leather covers in yet for that, but the seat came out great. It's going to look excellent in the truck. So much better than that torn up trash that was all stained and ripped, and the new foam in the driver's seat's going to be great. So I'm definitely excited. Can't wait to get them in the truck. We got to get the rest of that interior together first. But here it is, looking really good. So I'll get this back cover on, and these are done. And last but not least in the seat covering process, we got our headrests here. So here is our new covers that just came in, the leather ones that'll match our nice seats. And here's the old garbage we got to get off. They're pretty simple to deal with. Right here is where you take it apart. You got a channel right here. Then this clips right into that channel, and then it locks it in. They're very difficult to stretch over sometimes, and that's okay. Just take your time and work them off, because you want them to be tight. Otherwise, this material won't be nice and taut like this. It'll have like wrinkles and stuff. So they are usually pretty tight, and that's all right. Underneath, you got a wrap here, and then their foam. This foam was actually split. The headrest cushion part went over top of the metal here, so this metal pushed through here. So I had to open the hole and then glue and then redo the foam. So the glue I used is flexible, so it still moves okay. It has a little bit of a feel to it, but it's very minimal. And that way I don't have to hunt around for headrest. That's just an easy repair on this one. So I'm going to get these covers on, and I will show you how it goes. All right, well, we managed to get one on. I got to get the latch part done. I just wanted to let you guys know, if you ever decide to tackle this, the amount of pressure it takes to get this to pull over the headrest is the amount where it feels like you're going to rip it right in half. You got to like push it in a tiny bit at a time, then work to the other side, push it in, and just keep working it as hard as you can back and forth without ripping the material. So there's obviously a fine line. So be really careful if you're going to try to tackle this, because these things can be a bit of a bear if you don't have a good grip, because you got to pull super hard. So now it's time to get this part latched in. As you can see, they got these little pull tabs here, but they're actually blockers, so when this is closed, it doesn't show the foam. See? It gives it a nice finished look. So let me get these things clasped, and I'll go to the next one. Now, to get these things closed up, all you do is you take this lip here, and you take this channel, and then you just, it's hard to do with one hand, obviously. Let me get it lined up. So all I did was line it up, and then you kind of push it past it, and then push it in. And that's it. It is locked in. So there is our new headrest. Looks very good. So now let me work on the next one. The other thing you need to be very careful of is the orientation of your headrest, because if you put the cover on backwards, it's not going to line up right. So as you can see, the way this is cut is smaller than the back side. The back side is a bigger piece of material. And the other giveaway is you got a large piece of material here, and then this part is a lot narrower. It's a smaller piece. So if you see how I did it here, you got the smaller piece there, and that's where the two legs come through, and then the bigger piece is on top, and then there's the front. So that's the orientation you got to go with. So just make sure when you're doing headrests and you're trying to do the upholstery on them, they're very difficult to get on. And once you get it on, the last thing you need to do is figure out you have it on backwards. So pay close attention to that during the process, so you don't have to take it apart again. Luckily, I remembered that before I did it. So let me get this second headrest done. And there we have it. 2 leather headrests to match our nice new leather seats and finish off that part of the interior. So that's a nice stamp of completion right here. Well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This project didn't take that long. It was pretty easy, and the payoff is great. So definitely my kind of project here. It really looks wonderful. I can't wait to put them in the truck. Once we get this whole interior looking nice like this, it's going to really make that truck worth keeping. So please like, subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram. We're the Mass Mechanics.